You're listening to Wellness Junkies,
where wellness gets real, not perfect.
Welcome to Wellness Junkies, where we try all the wellnessy things, spill the beauty tips, and have real conversations, all with a side of fun.
We're in it, learning together with you.
I'm Amy.
And I'm Katie. Let's get into it.
Welcome back to Wellness Junkies. It's Amy, and I'm so excited to be joined by Juliana Spaven today. So 7 years ago, Juliana was irritable, gaining weight, not sleeping, her skin was sagging, and she was wondering if her best days were behind her. Can anyone relate with that? I can, and I'm sure you all can too. Who's not going through that? But today, she's a 50-plus model, content creator, and the mastermind behind Silver Highlights 1971. If you haven't been following her, please do. She has incredible content. It is a platform that encourages women to age well naturally via nutrition, movement, facial exercise, clean beauty, and more. Juliana believes your silver years can truly be the highlight reel of your life and is on a mission to inspire women to look and feel their best for their age. So welcome to the show. I'm so excited to meet you and to have you on the show. A friend of mine's mother actually turned me on to you, and she was like, have you seen this woman on Instagram and TikTok? She's so wonderful. And then I started becoming a super fan and watching all your content. So welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. That's just, it's lovely. Thank you so much. Wow. I love hearing that. So thank you.
You're even more gorgeous, kind of in real life, even though we're on Zoom. But next time we realize we live close to each other, we're going to meet in person.
Absolutely.
But why don't you tell me and our audience a little about yourself? I know I just kind of read your bio, but how this all started.
Yeah, sure. It is really true. I was 47, I was waking up. I remember I woke up and I was like, I can't sleep. I'm crabby. I'm irritable. My life sucks. I'm gaining weight. I'm bloated all the time. I was snapping at my husband, snapping at my kids. And I was like, is this it? Is this as good as it gets? Right. And I have always asked that question throughout my life. And the universe has always responded really positively, no, boom, with something brand new. And that was the start of me just doing a massive reset and a deep dive into how do I age better than what my mom is like. And no offense to my mom, I love her. She's a wonderful person, but time has not been good to her. And so and I remember being in my 20s and my 30s and looking, and I remember I was in the time I was working in advertising, and I was working on the Dove campaign for Real Beauty, which was women in their underwear.
I remember that campaign.
I worked on that. And I remember looking at these models and thinking what does a 50-year-old look like? I had no idea, because my two metrics to go by was Madonna, who had all her plastic surgery and was on the cover of Vogue and was, totally clean pressed, right? And then my mom, and I was like, that's it? That's all I got, And so thank goodness for social media, because today we have an abundance of women who are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s and beyond and are aging naturally. And they are my heroes. I look at them and I'm like, oh my God, that's such inspiration for me. I'm like, and what's the formula? How do I do it? Right. That became really interesting to me. And I want to build an understanding of how can I age optimally, age the very best I can, to be the very best version of myself today, but then also in the future. And then the reciprocal to that is, so appearance-wise, how do I look and feel my absolute best for my age? And I always kind of have that little asterisk there, because we live in a world today where Kris Jenner can go get a new face at however old she is, 69 or whatever. And no shame to that. If that's your jam, that's awesome. Go ahead. You should be allowed to age however you want. But that is not, that's not going to be my program. I have just decided that's not in my cards, right? So I want to know how do I optimize what I have? So there's a little bit of biohacking that comes in. There's a little bit of HRT knowledge and wisdom. There's a little bit of nutrition that comes in. And this is all the things I talk about on my platform. And I really never started, my goal was never to have this movement or whatever, have this platform, but it just started, people just started following me. And I was like, oh, I guess there are other people, other women who are really interested in what I'm doing and the journey I'm on. So that's where I am today. And that's what I talk about and make content on.
That's so cool. So did you just start, it's actually similar, kind of similar to a story of mine years ago when I wasn't taking care of myself and I was burnt out from working. I work in advertising and marketing as well as another world. But and I was really burnt out and like wasn't drinking water and just was like everything. And I did like a major reset like you did. And that's kind of one of the reasons this podcast started. And you just start researching and realizing like, wow, there's so many other people. So did you start just researching online, just talking to women, like just doing your own kind of due diligence?
I just started doing my own. I for a while there was really into fasting. Now I'm not, but I was just trying different modalities. I got really into, I followed a few biohackers and I was like, all right, came to my husband. I was like, we're going to get a sauna. He's like, we are. I was like, yeah, so we got a sauna. And then like a year later, I was like, baby, we're going to get a cold plunge. And he's like, are you out of your mind? And I was like, yeah, listen, here's why, and I gave him also, we have a cold plunge. We do all the things, there is my kids, like they'll call, like my daughter is 12, almost 13. And she'll text me on the way home from school. She's like, so-and-so is going to come over. Can you please not be doing anything weird? Because I'm like apt to be out in the backyard grounding with no shoes on, and
you sound like me. I love this.
doing breathing exercises, the whole thing, and relaxing my nervous system, getting into the, switching into parasympathetic and all this stuff. And my kids are like, Mom, can you just not be weird? And I'm like, no, this is like me. Right. So it's really fun.
You know what? They're learning through you. So it's all good. Like my son's at, my older son is at college right now and he wasn't feeling well. And I told him, I'm like, go find, I gave him a recommendation for an IV place out there. How they have these, because we had interviewed someone on the show from Hydrate IV Bar and they had one out there. I'm like, go there. You're dehydrated, you're run down, like you don't know how to, and he went and he's like, oh my God, I feel so much better. So it's like, your kids subliminally are getting the messages from you. So that's good. So
100%.
This is such a broad question, but like, how do we age well? What are your best tips? Like break it down for our audience who like, they just want like, what are the couple things we need to be doing? Yeah. I know it's a big question, but what are your favorite things?
So the shortcut, the TLDR is there is no shortcut, right? And it's the stuff it's the stuff you already know that you don't want to do. They're trying to find a workaround. It's all that stuff. Like there is, the shortcut is that there is no shortcut. And so it is movement. And by movement, I talk about weightlifting. I talk about stability. I talk about flexibility, especially as estrogen declines, your ability to have the beautiful body that you had in your 20s and 30s that was so good to you and everything felt so right and peaceful inside you, that is diminishing. And
by the day.
And so it is up to you to maintain and hold on to what you have. And so it is totally a use it or lose it game. I have, I am just passionate about women being strong, and it flies counter into the modeling world. And, I've had agents tell me like this such and such client loves you. They won't book you because you have muscles on your arms. And I'm like, well, we're not going to Photoshop them out. Yeah. I'm like, that's great. I'm going to live a lot longer than, because of that. Right. I'm not going to not. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just,
in this day and age, that's interesting. Right. Because being strong is so important.
Right. But, so it's all of the things and then that's just movement. You've got to work on mobility. You've got to work on stability, because one of the biggest killers for women is, falling and breaking a hip, because women have osteoporosis. We get it more than men. And, when estrogen declines, it really has an impact on our bones. And if you're not lifting weights, the next thing to go is your bones, right? And so you want to be super, you've kind of got to do all the things, and it becomes a lifestyle. How to age well becomes a lifestyle, right? It's not just movement, but it's also nutrition. It's also dialing in, are you eating enough? Are you leading with protein? Are you eating enough fiber? Like really kind of looking at your plate, do I really need alcohol on a Tuesday afternoon for no reason?
Right.
Things like that. Where can you cut out, not take out the joy in your life? And I don't consider alcohol joy, although at one point in my life, I definitely remember those feelings of like, yes, it is a Tuesday evening and I am going to have a margarita. I remember those days. But it's where you're making decisions for your future self to be that best, optimal, vibrant self that you want to be, versus right now in the now, right? And it's all of that. But then there's also HRT, there's sleep optimization. All of it plays a role in aging well in such a broad question. They're all these variables that you want to pull, and it's a constant process of balancing all of that.
Yeah, I agree. And I think we sort of talk about a lot of these things on the show about it being a lifestyle. Like sometimes, we give a lot of tips and tricks for small things, right? But it's like, it is, if you want to be committed to it, it is a lifestyle. I mean, that's how I changed my whole lifestyle too. It's just like the little things all add up, right? And then you just do it and you don't even realize it's your lifestyle. It's just like, yeah, of course I'm drinking all this water a day and of course I'm taking these supplements, but it just becomes your world once you're focused on it. And then it doesn't even feel like you're putting work into it. At least that's how I feel about it.
Right. Exactly. You just, suddenly, like, once upon a time, it's so funny because I was talking about this with my daughter and I was like, about 8 or 9 years ago, we still had Cheez-Its in the pantry. We still had Lucky Charms, and my daughter's like, oh yeah, what happened to those? I was like, right. Your mom is what happened to those.
Exactly.
Where you just start slowly but surely making smarter decisions. And it's everything. It is, what am I putting on my skin? Is it clean beauty? Is it a product that, I like, do I know what is in the ingredients, right? Because there are 13,000 different types of chemicals and ingredients in skincare products and beauty care products in the world today. And in the United States, we've banned 11. And in Europe, they've banned like 1,600. I mean, there are so many products that are so toxic to our bodies. And then we're like, well, I don't know why we have PCOS. I don't know why we have all these autoimmune diseases. It's like, well, what are you ingesting? How, and it's not just what you're putting in your mouth, but what are you ingesting in your body? What are you taking in mentally? All of that has such an impact on how we look and feel, right? It's a holistic approach.
If you've ever felt like the wellness space is a little too much, we get it. Enter the Wellness Junkies newsletter, which gives you quick, no fluff updates on what's worth trying, what actually works, how to make wellness feel doable. Think insider finds, expert tips with a dose of good energy in your inbox each week. It's quick, it's easy, it's a fun read. We're all figuring it out together, and our newsletter just keeps it real and not perfect. Subscribe at substack.com/@wellnessjunkies and join the community.
I was just talking to someone earlier about meat and the way that our meat and chicken and all that stuff is produced. And I got a whole education on that. So now I'm like, even the meat you're buying from Whole Foods, like all that kind of stuff, like it's a whole nother topic. But I was like, okay, this was interesting. I need to start being more intentional about where I'm buying my meat and from who and all of that stuff. Okay. So we need to discuss, because you're stunningly gorgeous, and like the fact that you have no Botox, I need to hear all about it, because like, have you never done it? When did you stop doing it? Like, I know you do all the facial exercises, so I need to like know the whole scoop.
Yes. Okay. So I started doing Botox because this is literally a journey of, I didn't know better and now I do,
Right.
and now I do better. So when I was like around 39, 40, 41, I started getting really bad 11 lines right here. And so I talked to my friends and they're like, oh, you go get Botox. And I was like, okay. And so I didn't know any better. I was like, I guess that's what you do. And I got Botox for about a decade. And then at 52, it was like 51, 52, my husband like looked at me one day and I was scheduling an appointment to go to the dermatologist to get another round of Botox. And he just looked at me and he said, Jules, you are like the most organic person I have ever met. Even our laundry detergent is freaking organic. Everything in this house is organic. And he's like, and you're going to literally shoot toxins into your forehead. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, there's got to be another way. And I was like, okay. So I went down the rabbit hole that night. I was like, all right, let's see what gotta be another way. Went down the rabbit hole of, like I typed into the browser, my Google browser, Botox alternatives, and Frownies popped up. And I was like, what is this? Do you know what Frownies are?
I've seen them. They're like face tape.
It's like face tape. They're these little patches. And it's this weird kind of paper, and you wet the paper and then it hardens and it literally forms like a plaster cast. That's what it feels like. You stick them onto your forehead and all of a sudden you can't like raise your eyebrows. You've got this mask on your forehead and you can't raise your eyebrows. You can't move. You can't articulate. You can't express your face with motion the way you used to. And you wear them overnight. And what it does is it trains you over time. First of all, it relaxes your forehead at night. So when you're sleeping, especially if you dream, you might have, you might be expressing yourself facially in your dream and you might not be aware of it because you're asleep. How would you know?
Right.
And you wake up and you're like, God, what happened to my face? Right. Frownies prevents that. So you're relaxing your forehead muscles completely. Second of all, you wear this for like 8 or 9 hours and you wake up and you're like, it's almost like it's still there. And you become aware of how you're moving your forehead so that you don't express yourself that way in the daytime, if you will, right? And you just become
Interesting.
conscious of it. And the more you wear them, I've been wearing them now for 2 years. And the more I wear my Frownies, the more I'm just like, I always say, like, if I'm so blessed to die in my sleep, you will find me with an estrogen patch on and a Frownies on my forehead, because they are like part of my nighttime routine. It's like flossing or anything. I have to put my Frownies on.
And is it just, can you just put them on your forehead or can you put them on other parts of your face?
I have not put them on my other parts of my face. I do facial exercises to really, that's where I've seen the most lift in terms of my cheeks and the jowls and the nasolabial folds and all of that stuff. But Frownies for my forehead is just, I mean, chef's kiss.
Interesting.
Amazing.
So it really just trains you to move your face differently versus, because like I've used face tape a few times. I've tried it. The ones that I've had have like bothered my skin. So maybe there's a better version, and I've used it for like down here because I feel like this gets droopy and it like looks good the next day, but it's not like, I feel like it's just like a temporary, like it's not training me. It's just kind of like,
yeah,
keeping everything in place. And then I take it off and it looks good for a little bit. Then you just do it again.
right.
So that's interesting. Yeah. I have to test that out.
Brownies
That's cool.
really, like, I become very aware that I move my forehead when I'm, articulating like this. And then I'm like, I don't have to do that. I can just chill out a little bit with the eyebrows. I don't need to do that all the time. And then it just becomes like, then I'm like, oh, okay, this is cool. And I know if I have like, I remember there was a couple, there was a day that I had a very emotional day, and it was a lot of like, I was really, doing all this kind of stuff. And I got, taking off my makeup at night and I look in the mirror and I'm like, I could see my 11 lines coming back. And I was like, I got this. I got my Frownies. Boom. Wake up the next morning, like flawless. And I'm like,
so cool.
I mean, this is literally my forehead.
I'm staring at it being like, it's amazing.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's
so
Frownies.
cool.
But then the rest of it is like my eyes. And I just dropped a reel the other day because my followers were like, show us before and after pictures. And I was like, I don't have any, because here's the thing, like, who wants to keep an ugly picture of yourself, right? So, but I finally did it. I went through and I looked through all my photos and I found a bunch of before pictures of me before I started doing facial exercises, before I gave up Botox even. And the difference is just,
oh, I think I saw that. Did you do the one of your
my neck
and chin? Yeah, it was incredible.
I had jowls coming down right here. I mean, I had like literally loose, flabby skin, and it's gone now. And, it's remarkable. People are like, facial exercises don't work. And I'm like, bullshit. I mean, like literally, like, it's just phenomenal what you can do. Do you have to do it every day? Or, a couple times a week? Yes, you absolutely do. It's a lifestyle thing. And I look at people and I'm like, okay, but you're willing to spend $12,000 or $15,000 with plastic surgery and, undergo all kinds of medical risk and recovery and face numbing and the fact that you sever nerves in your face and all these things and complications. You're willing to do all of that, but you're not willing to try facial exercises for 3 months to see if it's going to work for you. Like, that to me sounds crazy.
Right.
But I'm not, but again, if that's your jam and you want to go do that, you are, this is free will, like, do it however you want. But I'm choosing a different way. And at least for me and for, the women who've taken my program and love it, you can really see a difference with facial exercises. You have to be consistent, just like going to the gym.
Just like everything, right? I mean, so how often are you doing facial exercises and like, how are you integrating it into your routine every day? Like, how long does it take?
Takes a couple minutes in the morning. I know what the areas that I want to target. Like, I want to target my eyes and my forehead in the morning. And then I do the lower jowls like throughout the day. Cause like I'll be walking my dog and I'll go like this. That's a facial exercise. I'm pulsing my cheeks and I'm building.
That's what I need to do.
And I build up my zygomatic major and minor muscles with different various, I'll do that.
Right. I see right there. Yeah.
While I'm walking my dog. Like, I might pass one person. I might, as I'm going close to them, I might stop doing it. And then I just keep going, and I'm like, I'm also 54. I have no estrogen left. I don't care. Like,
right.
If you think I'm crazy, but I'm like, I'll be like at a red light and I'll just be doing facial exercises in the car. I'm like, this isn't that hard, and then at night I will do, I will work on my neck, or I'll work on various different areas that I see that might be problem zones, but like, I incorporate it when I can. I like doing it before and after, like when I don't have makeup on, but I've just put skincare on. So my skin is still kind of moisturized, and it has enough moisture from my serums and creams so that I can manipulate the skin if I need to, and it won't pull or tear anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so you kind of sort of have a set routine. It sounds like morning and night, and then throughout the day, you just kind of like dabble it in. And then do you talk about your program? Because I want to understand. So I know you have tons of content and showing us how to do these exercises, but you also have a full routine that people can follow.
Yeah. So I have a facial exercise program. There are 6 modules in that program: the forehead, the eyes, the mid face, the mouth, the neck, and your overall posture, because everything's connected. I know that
I
medically
need all of
today,
those things.
medically today, we like to believe that, like if you have a problem, it's that one particular problem and it's not connected to any part of your body. And I'm like, this is such nonsense. Everything's connected. Everything matters, like how you plant your feet, how you move through, your posture, how your head is positioned over your spine has an impact on your neck, what your jawline looks like, how snatched it is, if you've got chest wrinkles. All of that it's all together in posture, right? But each module is 10 to 15 minutes long. Pick the module that you want to work on. So some women are like, my eyes are my priority, or some say my neck is my priority. I'm like, great, then do that module 3 to 5 times a week, and then deprioritize the other zones until you're really starting to see results in those areas. And you're like, okay, I got this. This is locked in. Great. I'm seeing results here. You can move that to maintenance, and you can start focusing on other areas in your face to really prioritize those areas. But yes, it's something that I do on the regular. I talk about it on the regular, just because I'm such a fan, because I've seen the results in me. And I'm like, if I can do this, like if I can go from really saggy skin to being hired by Lancome to be, like literally, I did a campaign last year for Lancome, and they were like, I asked them, I said, it was December, January. And I was like, why did you guys pick me for the 40 something woman? And I'm 50. At the time I was 53. And they're like, oh, because your cheekbones. And I was like, well, I built them. I mean, I literally built my cheekbones, right? I mean, I have high cheekbones, but it was all saggy. Look at the before pictures and then come back and look at me now. Because I did not, if you would have gone to me at 48, 49 and said, hey, I know you don't believe this, but in 6 years from now, you're going to be a Lancome model, I'd have been like, get out, but here we are. So.
That's incredible. And so essentially it's like you're building up the muscles almost in your face, just like you would work out anything else. Right. You might as well be working out your face. It's basically this.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah.
Exactly. And we just, it's just not something that's talked about, because if you're going to go to a plastic surgeon, I mean, of course, a plastic surgeon's going to say, oh, facial exercises don't work. I mean, it's in their financial interest to convince you that the surgery is the optimal route. Right. But like, I know personally, if you have tight platysma muscles, you are going to have sagging neck muscles. So if you have not been, extending out like this and really stretching your platysma muscle and doing neck exercises, if you're spending your day hunched over either on your computer or on your phone, like so many of us, I mean, it's going to show up. It's going to show up.
Do you do the exercises that you have target? Because I've noticed as I've been aging, like my mouth is all of a sudden like more down. I'll look at myself and I'm like, why is it so down? I'm like, how do I just get it back up?
Yeah,
so that helps with that? Like, I guess that's the whole jowl area, right?
Yeah, you've got tight platysma, and that's pulling those muscles down. It's connected to your DAO muscles, which are right here, and that's pulling those muscles down. And so you're getting like resting bitch face, right?
Yeah. Oh my God. Worse. Right. It's like, yeah. And it's so funny because that's right. The DAS, because I did do Botox in that one time and I hated it because I couldn't move my mouth. Like I'm very expressive. So I got that because Katie had told me about it because she does that. And I did it. And I was like, this is so strange because I can't move my mouth the way that I normally would. And I didn't like it. I didn't even think it made that much of a difference because I just am expressive. So I'm like, I'm never doing that again. So I need to try this for sure. And even for people who are like a hybrid, who still want to do Botox or whatever they do, like something like this could maintain it longer. Maybe you get Botox once a year or once, you could, because now, I mean, I feel like with Botox, if you get on the wagon of it, it's like every 3 to 4 months. It's just such a pain. And maybe you do it once a year and you do this the rest of the time. So you're like building it up and then maybe eventually you don't even need to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're
No,
motivating me.
I'm very well familiar with the Botox calendar. I mean, I had it,
Ugh.
every 5 months I was like, boom, boom. And I would like stretch it out to the point like where, I was like, all right, I look angry all the time right up here. And now I'm like, I've got this lovely little glabella that I love because my Frownies.
Yeah, I need to try those Frownies. I have my forehead's okay. I'm always like looking at the areas you were talking about, like around the eyes and like this
Mhm.
area that's just like
Mhm.
was fine before, and all of a sudden, like I'm like, wait, what's happening?
Yeah. Yeah. So
Okay, good. We're all going to be checking this out. Okay, let's move on to like products and hair care and all that stuff. I think you had spoken recently about hair loss, and like I feel like as we age and your hormones are changing. I mean, my hair used to be really thick. It's still thick, but not as it once was. And so, what are you doing, or what do you think about hair loss and how we can maintain like having our hair stay thick and
yeah, it's such a
strong?
complex, there's so many various levers, and it's so tough because a friend of mine reached out to me and she was like, okay, I literally like what's happening because I'm losing my hair
Yeah,
in clumps. And I'm like, well, it could be hormonal. It could be that you're deficient in vitamin D. It could be that, you're using a product that your scalp no longer agrees with. This happened to me, not on my hair, but I remember I was 47 and I woke up one morning with my eyes completely swollen shut. And I was like,
oh
what?
my god.
And so I went to my dermatologist and she was like, you're allergic to something some product that you've been using. And I was like, that's like, I'm using designer skincare. I can't remember the brands I was using. I think it was Paracone. I don't know. But anyway, I was like, no, like this is really expensive stuff. And she's like, expensive doesn't mean quality.
Yeah.
She's like, you work in marketing, you should know this. And I was like, oh. And she's like, you're obviously allergic to something. Your scalp could, this happens as estrogen leaves. Estrogen is highly protective and anti-inflammatory. When estrogen levels start to decline, you start to see your body reacting more to things that you previously were totally fine with and never had an issue with. And all of a sudden your eyes swell up or your scalp starts reacting and you're like, what's happening? So it could be product based. It could be nutrition deficiency issues. I mean, that's such a big thing. Vitamin D, as I
Yeah.
mentioned earlier, all of those factors have a role at the table. So for me, when I really started seeing hair loss, I switched to a clean beauty brand where there's no um, um, there's no chemicals, there's no sodium lauryl sulfate in the shampoo or the conditioner. That's the product that's the ingredient that helps create rich lather that we like so much. And particularly
Mhm.
American consumers really like lathery type of shampoo. And it's a sign of, this is efficacy. It's working to clean my hair. Um, it's working to strip your hair and damage your hair and all kinds of things. But
Yeah, it's like detergent.
yeah, exactly. So it's starting to take a look at what products are you using in your hair and how are you treating your hair and how can you start to really create an environment for scalp health. And I'm always trying different things. Like I, have tried the apple cider vinegar rinse on my hair. I've tried, various different dry shampoos and all this other types of products, and I've landed on a product that I deeply, deeply love. It's from Maya Chia and they're a clean beauty brand. And, it is for me, it just has strengthened my hair follicles and really
Mm.
helped with shedding and thinning. And I'm like, I love this brand. I'm obsessed with their hair care products. So I will,
Okay, good
I
to know.
will.
I have not heard of that brand. I'll have to look it up. It's funny. We had someone on the show, gosh, it was probably like last year, and she was a specialist in like Ayurvedic, all that stuff. I don't know if I said that right. And she gave us these, which it reminds me I have to do them, like all these different exercises, not exercises, but things to do with your hair. So if you're doing hair oiling, or even if you're not, just ways to like,
Stimulate the scalp. Yeah.
stimulate the scalp. That's what she gave us, like 3 or 4 different exercises. So I sometimes, because I have them posted on Instagram, I'll go back and I'll be like, oh yeah, I need to do these, because I was like doing it like for a while and it was helping to, I feel like, make my scalp
Mhm.
like less itchy, and like I felt like my hair wasn't shedding as much. But yeah, that reminds me that I need to get with the program again. But
Yeah.
okay, good
But
to know.
by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this, but like, your sex hormones declining. Like, I mean, it could be that you're imbalanced and that your estrogen levels and progesterone levels aren't in the right zone. maybe you have too much testosterone. All of that has such a dramatic impact on our hair.
Yeah.
And, so like it's worth talking to doctors. Like if hair thinning is really an issue for you, like my friend who reached out to me, I was like, here are all the questions you're going to ask your doctor. Go, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to write a blog post about it because I'm sure this is a real issue for my audience too. And it was.
Yeah. And it's so, I feel like there's so much conversation about it now because Nutrafol and all these brands are, are out talking about hair loss. I mean, it's just very, very common as we age, and it's now being spoken about, which is a good thing. I meant to ask you before about the facial exercises. How long have you been doing them for?
I have really been doing facial exercises for about 18 months. And so, I do them now on I do it like maintenance, and it's just
yeah.
what I do
so
every
it's
day.
like, so for someone who wants to try it and they've never done it, like how long should they give themselves until they see a difference? Is it like a couple months where you start seeing a difference?
You can start seeing differences in as little as 3 weeks. And I'm not joking. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, 18 months isn't very long. I thought you were going to say you've been doing it for like 5 years.
No. You can, particularly the eye area. If you are doing my eye module and you're moving fluid out, you're draining your lymph, you're doing all the things and you're doing the exercises effectively, you can really see a difference. You can see a difference and I tell people all the time, take a picture before you start the module and take one afterwards. And you will be surprised at the difference in your eyebrows, just the height, the way your eyes opened, all of it. And you see it. Now start doing that on the regular, repeating that motion and just training your body. Like, this is the way I want my eyes to open to be, I'm going to really work the orbicularis oris muscle, right? It's gonna happen. But like I said, it's also like going to the gym. You don't expect results in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
So, but the subtle signs of you doing facial exercises, you can expect that in as little as 3 weeks.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Okay. So we were talking about clean products, and just give us your favorite products. Like, what are I know the hair care brand you just mentioned, so that's great. But like, what other clean products and supplements are you loving right now? There's probably so many, but
there are so many. I'm a huge fan of like Mukti Organics. They're out of Australia and they source with Australian organic wild plants. And it's just amazing because I really do believe like Australia is a continent like unlike anywhere else in the world. And everything is kind of different and a little bit more heightened and a little bit more unique in Australia. So I really love their products that are out there. It's fabulous especially for women who have really mature, dry skin like me. I'm obsessed with that line. I love Savor Beauty. They're out of New York, SAVOR, and they are a Korean skincare, but make it clean beauty brand. So all their products are like caviar eye cream and pumpkin serum, and it's just fantastic stuff. It gives you the glass skin glow that everybody's dying for, but it's clean beauty. I'm like, oh, love that brand. There's so many others. I feel like they're little children of mine. There's Josh Rosebrook. There's I'm trying to think of everything in my cabinet now, and I'm blanking.
No, all good. I mean, this is great because I don't know any of these brands. I feel like I know so many brands, so that's good to know. And then, do you do a lot of supplements?
I do a fair amount of supplements. I kind of have an on-off relationship with supplements because I don't like to be addicted to something forever and ever. Like magnesium is my go-to. I will, I take that on the regular, glycinate and threonate for brain health at night. But everything else, I kind of shift. You should always have an omega-3, especially because we don't eat enough fish in our diets these days. So that's a really important one. But then the vitamin D, if you need sunlight or, if you're not getting enough vitamin D, that's definitely something to incorporate in as a supplement basis. But it really, that's a very nuanced conversation, and it needs to be one with you and your doctor and your lab results and looking at how do you optimize your health, right? So that, I will tell you one other thing that I have recently come into, I've come to know that I'm obsessed with is microneedling or derma rolling. So I don't get facials. I don't go to spas and stuff like that, but this is a product that you can have in the privacy of your own home. And it is such a collagen stimulant. I'm obsessed with it. I literally, it's up there.
I do microneedling like at the not the derm place, but like the place I go. Yeah. And, maybe like twice a year, but I haven't. Yeah. So this is like an at-home version of it. Like
it's an at-home version. And it's not as like, I've seen some people come back from, microneedling at the spa and their face is like bloody. It's like really raw and red. That
Yeah.
is not what you do to yourself at home. But my skin turns pink, like a healthy, glowy pink. I do it twice a week. And it takes 5 minutes. Does it hurt? Yeah, but we've been through childbirth, so it's nothing.
Right.
And like my skin is just so luminous. It is so like the transformation is just shocking.
Really? What's the brand? It's a tool?
Yeah, it's called Gin Amber, Gin, like gin and cokes, right? Yeah. Gin Amber, Amber Beauty. And it's not expensive. It's like $40 for a roller, and it has, these little micro needles, and I don't know if you know the science behind it, but when you microneedle, you create little tears in your dermal layers, and those tears then trigger your body's inflammation process, which is the redness that you see in the flushing, right? And then that in turn, now your body's like, oh, there's a problem here, and so then it sends collagen and elastin fibers to heal the skin, and so that happens on a regular basis. And so then now you're training your skin to constantly produce collagen and elastin fibers. I mean, honestly, it's been such a game changer for my skin. I've been doing it now for like 6 months, and I'm like, I like good.
Yes, you do. And do you use it with a serum or you just do it on a clean face?
I wash my face, make sure there's nothing on my face. And then I will spray with, a cleansing therapy thing her line has. And then I will derma roll, and then I'll go ahead and put all my serums and creams on. And then also, just because you've derma rolled and you've created kind of like what I like to say, little perforations in your skin, like your serums work that much more effectively.
Right.
They penetrate the dermal layer. Right. And so if you put on like a vitamin A retinol product or anything like that, it's just going to have that much more of an effect. I love it. I'm obsessed, like literally.
Yeah, I need to try that. I have a microneedling, like a Korean Medicube. You know that one? It's like the little it's not microneedling, but it's like a, what's the word?
Like
it's
a
not
stamp?
Peptide. What did you say?
A stamp?
It's not
Like
a stamp. It's I'm blanking because I have like total brain fog day to day. But anyway, it's not a peptide. It's a, what is that? Exosome. Sorry. It's an exosome little serum kind of. And when you put it on, it feels like needles a little bit, but it's not the same effect as microneedling, but it's supposed to be that way. It's almost probably just like an exfoliator, but it sort of has that same idea. But I bet you this is way better because it sounds like it's deeper.
I mean, you literally take this and you roll it across your face, and like you can see like one half of your face is not red and the other half is. It's pink. It's not red.
Yeah.
But
do you do it on your neck too?
Oh yeah, the neck, and then I do the décollage, this whole area too. And then and then I put all my serums on, and then I'm like,
right, and then they like seal in. It's good.
Yeah. So tonight's my night to derm. I do it twice a week, and I'm a huge fan of that too. Huge.
Yeah, I have to try that because I do the microneedling, but yeah, like I said, I don't do it that much, and it's better to probably
look at all the things you're learning. You learn about Frownies, you learn about facial exercises,
exactly,
dermal rollers.
I'm a changed woman after I get off the phone with you.
At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 350 plus programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Okay, so let's talk about, before we get into our wrap session, just food, which I know is like very personal for everyone, obviously like clean, healthy, organic, but like what's like your daily eating routine? Like, do you like to eat the same things every day? Like what's your eating a lot of protein? Like what's your latest?
Yeah. So I like to eat the same thing every day until I like wake up one day and I'm like, I can never have that food again.
We can't do it anymore.
I'm that person. And right now that's I broke up with chicken, and my husband's looking at me. He's like, you can't. He's like, our whole house is going to go to war over this. And I was like, I don't know. I just had a lot of chicken. I'm done.
Yeah.
But in general, the way I approach food is I always secure the protein on my plate first. So I'm always thinking, okay, I want to hit 120 grams of protein a day. So what does that mean? I have to backtrack then. So that's 40 So that's 40 grams per meal, right? So what does that look like? What's 40 grams of protein look like in the morning? And then I just figure it out, whether it's going to be eggs or it's going to be cottage cheese, or this morning it was tuna, because I felt like having tuna fish and I didn't feel like making eggs, right? And I was like, I'm not having chicken, right? So at lunch, I will have, a salad and some other, other form of protein. I have a lunch today, so I'm probably going to have a steak salad, right? And then tonight I'll figure out something for dinner that has protein, a complex carb like squash, and then with a low glycemic index, and then steamed potatoes or steamed vegetables, something like that for my kids.
Yeah.
So that's literally it. I kind of took myself off of, I broke up with added sugar about a year ago, and I don't miss it. Every now and again, I'll treat myself to a piece of like 85% dark chocolate. It was a hard breakup.
Yeah, that's hard.
But I literally, I don't miss it. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, you probably feel so much better.
Yeah.
And do you just try to eat your protein with your meals? Do you ever do shakes? Or like, I'm always like a snacky person, so I'm always looking for like, what can I have that's like just, a protein snack. So I'll do like a shake, but you get sick of it.
Right, exactly. And I find I increasingly am, like, my husband's huge on shakes, and he's constantly trying different protein powders and all this kind of stuff. And I'm kind of like, you know what? Even protein powders are processed. Like, they are processed foods. You know what I mean? Right. And I'm like, I increasingly want to just live in a world where I eat real food as much as possible. And I know like where it came from. I'm cooking it, which means like we don't go out to eat that much. We really don't. Cause it's like, I know the quality of food that I'm serving. I mean, you just learned about meat the other day, right? So think about when you go out to eat at a restaurant, they're not serving the grass-fed, pasture raised, beef or whatever, so like, and I sit there and I kind of do this and I'm like, and I'm paying you money to give me crappy food. Make it make sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I kind of get frustrated with it and I'm like, there is a better way. Right. So.
Yeah. And I recently learned the term grass finished, because that's the kind of meat you're supposed to have, because grass fed apparently means they've had grass once in their life, but it's not like grass finished, which I guess is, anyway, it's, exactly. When you go to a restaurant, you have no idea where anything's coming from unless you like,
right.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you know about True Food restaurants?
Yes, we have one near us.
Yes.
Which I love. Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's like one of my favorite places to take, like, I love it. I love the food.
It's so good because the quality is good. Exactly. So you can feel comfortable that you're like, it's sourced from the right places. But that's a good one. Okay. So let's get into our quick wrap session. So what is your favorite wellness and beauty hack? You gave us a lot, but give us your favorite.
I would have to say, honestly, facial exercises, just because I personally saw such a transformation in my face from not doing these exercises to doing these exercises. Like, literally, I had jowls. Go look at the pictures that I have on my website, but then also I've posted on Instagram and TikTok. I had jowls like right here. And I was like, and to go from that to this.
Yeah. It's amazing.
I'm just like, wow. And it speaks to the power of being able to transform your face and not listening to your plastic surgeon who's going to, like, I had a follower of mine reach out to me yesterday and she was like, I did it. I bought your course. I had a blepharoplasty scheduled for tomorrow. I canceled and I
no way.
And I was like, oh my gosh. I was just like, and I just was like, I just reached out to her and I was like, thank you for thank you for at least trying. And I was like, give me a month. I promise you, you lock in for a month. I promise you, you will be so happy you did not do it. And she was like, yeah, okay. But it was so cute. But like, I will always talk to the power of being able to, do things, because I mean, it intuitively makes sense to me, right? Like, I know if you go to the gym and you lift or you do pull-ups or you do push-ups, you're going to develop biceps. Why wouldn't it work on your face? Like, why not? We have facial muscles. We know about this. So why not? So that would be my big, I know I'm on my soapbox. I will now exit.
No, I love it. I love it. You're totally motivating me. Okay. So this one we call our 5-minute flow. So you just got out of the shower, dried off, Uber's on its way. You have 5 minutes. Like, what's your quick beauty routine? Like, what do you put on your face? Or like, what clothes are you throwing on just to like get out of the car? I mean, get out the door, get in the car.
All right, I will do like, a combination of various serums, a brightener, a serum for hydration and moisturizing, a moisturizer, an eye cream, my SPF, like never leave home without my SPF.
Yes.
And then usually like a cute sweater, some jewelry, a pair of jeans. I will grab a lipstick and a contour and mascara, and then I'm done. Like,
Yeah.
that's enough.
You have a good clean mascara, Reco, because I feel like that's another hard one to find.
So we're at my little makeup counter right now.
Oh.
I have natural light coming in this way from
Oh,
this
nice.
is why I do my makeup here. Yes, I'm obsessed with OG. Do you know OG? They're a clean beauty
I don't know.
brand.
I think I knew them.
Okay.
How's it spelled? OGEE?
OGEE.
Okay.
Clean beauty. This is like their tagline is Beyond Clean Beauty. And they really talk about how their products, their skincare just happens to be pigmented. I have been an OG fan for, I don't know, 6 years.
You're an OG of OG. That was so cheesy. I had to do it.
I'm just upset, like literally for mascara, that's my go-to. And people always say, oh my gosh, your lashes. And I'm like, I know, it's OG. I mean, I also have long lashes. I don't want to sway anybody, but like they can take your lashes from like to like fabulous. And it's clean. It's clean. There's no toxic crap in there. There's like, do you know there's microplastics in regular mascara? And then the brands are like, and PFAS chemicals, that's what gives your mascara its, forever wear, or, your waterproof
I know.
wear.
It's so scary. And then there are a lot of like clean brands at Sephora. Like I like the Ilia mascara, but sometimes I'm like, is it like, it's hard to know how clean it is, to your point.
Yeah. I just drop the entire, I have my team now knows this, but I will just take any product that a brand sends me. Like they'll send me something and I'll be like, all right, let's check the products. And we just drop it into Chat GPT. And then it's like, Chat's like, oh, you've got 6 flags on this product. I'm like, nope.
Yeah. I just listened to a podcast and that Jenny McCarthy was on, and apparently she has a line, very, very clean beauty, and her mascara is supposed to be incredible. So I don't know. I'm going to try that one too. Okay. How do you maintain your daily nirvana? How are you keeping it all together and balanced and calm on the daily?
I meditate every day. Every day. It is my go-to. It is just, it's what grounds me. It just, it makes me realize like whatever we have going on, there's something that's so much more powerful. And there's a reason for all of this, and can we rise above whatever small little issues we have? Just get out of your head. Just literally leave all the BS and the garbage that your brain is telling you. You are not what you think. You are way more powerful than that. And just recognize that. And so I'm so big on meditation and grounding. Just
love
works. It works.
Yeah, 100%. Okay. And where can we find you? Give us all your info.
You can find me on Instagram at Silver Highlights 1971. I'm also on TikTok with the same handle. I'm also on Threads. I'm also on Facebook and on YouTube with the same handle. And I have a website that's Silver Highlights 1971.
Okay. So if someone wants to do the exercise, like the program, it's on your website. And then you have like all the tips and stuff on your social.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you for joining. This was like, I feel like I have so many more things to ask you, but we'll do it next time in person because you're so inspiring. And I just love how your approach and your perspective to natural beauty. We're all trying our best, and just to have some tips and tricks and inspiration from you has been really great. So thank you for spending time with us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a marvelous day.
Thanks for listening to Wellness Junkies. For more on today's episode, follow us on Instagram at Wellness Junkies Official and find us on TikTok and YouTube at Wellness Junkies. You can also head to wellnessjunkiesofficial.com for expanded show notes, product links, and more. If you love the episode, leave a review and share it with a friend. We appreciate the love. Catch you next week. Bye.